Boy, am I glad I traveled to Paris in 2018 and saw the Mona Lisa. Oh man, those who have watched the movie will know what I'm talking about. So Glass Onion. Now, this is a Netflix movie that releases on that platform on December the 23rd. However, it had its debut at the Toronto International Film Festival on the 10th of September and is now receiving, I believe, a 1 week limited theatrical release this week, which is like a month from its intended release date. Weird how all that works, but I don't mind it. I mean, I'm not the first to see it, but I'm also not the last to see it. And I am glad that I was able to see it on the big screen because this was an extremely entertaining and fun sequel that definitely lives up to the highly praised first Knives Out movie that released back in 2019. And it tells the story of this big tech billionaire who invites all his supposed friends for a getaway on his private Greek island. But when someone turns up dead, Detective Benoit Blanc is put on the case once again. And for those of you who don't know, I actually reviewed the first movie when it came out, albeit terrible quality. That was the first year I started making videos. But funny thing is, I started searching for that video like on my channel yesterday, but it wasn't there. Turns out that video and also my Guns Akimbo review as well got like blocked from a whole lot of regions for copyright because I put too much of the trailers in, I guess. Funny how I make no money off of these videos, not even monetized or even partnered, and no one really watches them yet. They still get blocked anyway. But basically I just wanted to say that I did enjoy the first Knives Out, even though I did think that they spoiled a pretty big surprise a little bit too early, and there was also a lot of talking, but it was very entertaining for the most part. Not as entertaining as they claimed it would be in the trailers, but it was fairly entertaining, especially the twists and turns in the final act, and all the characters and the acting as well, especially Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, and Ana de Armas. And I feel almost the same way for the sequel as well, but Glass Onion may be just a touch more entertaining and funnier. Now first, I was scared that this movie wasn't going to be as good as the first movie, but it might even be better now having watched it all. And part of that has to do with the incredible scenery and environment design, as well as the amount of twists and turns. The best way to describe this movie was that it was a series of unexpected events. So many times this movie just goes down a different path than I thought it would. I felt like there were way more twists in this movie than the first one, and it felt more of like a mystery. At some parts I was just mind blown. Though I can see how this film can be a bit predictable if you are good at murder mysteries or just have high IQ or can just understand or like see the little details like very naturally, because there are a lot of hints throughout this movie. I just wasn't smart enough to figure them out myself, and I'm guessing a big chunk of people aren't either. But with the twists and turns though, I can see how, depending on the way it went, can let some people down. It was kind of like that for me for like some parts of this movie where I thought it could have gone a different way to ultimately be a better movie. That's not to say that this movie is not fun or entertaining, but maybe it could have just been better. At first I thought this was going to be like the Among Us movie or something, where it's quite similar to how it plays out in that game, and there's actually a reference to that game early on as well, which is quite funny. And that's the thing, part of what makes this movie so entertaining and so fun to watch is how modern and relatable it is, especially at the very start. This movie is like very in tune with like the real times, and I just love how it chooses to embrace those elements rather than neglect them. And even though I kind of do feel like the characters in this movie were probably not as good as the first one, the movie still introduces us to them and showcases the relationships between them, so we get a good enough idea of their motives and personalities. At first there was a lot of talking, but I mean, we're all used to that with these type of movies, right? But because there's a lot of talking, there's also a lot of explaining, and the twists and turns because of that can be kind of confusing to follow. I mean, I heard a few wait, what? Those type of comments in the theater that I was in. I mean, I was able to follow it, but I can see how, I'll admit it did take me a few seconds to kind of process everything. So that's why I say that it can be kind of hard to follow at times and might be overwhelming for some people. To conclude, Glass Onion does some things better than the original, but some things not as well. But ultimately, I feel like it was overall better as it was more entertaining, more of a mystery, and definitely on a grander scale as well. I still don't believe the ultimate twist of this movie beats the finale of the first movie, where Chris Evans tries to stab the girl, and then we find out, they find out that it's a retractable knife. My god. But still, this movie has more twists and turns, I guess, so I'll give it that. I'm going to give Glass Onion a Knives Out mystery a B. And even though I say that the characters weren't as good as the first movie, I just personally thought that they weren't. Not to say that they were like bad or anything. I'd say I basically liked almost all of them, with Dave Bautista, Janelle Monáe, Madeline Klein, and obviously Daniel Craig being the highlights for me. But anyway, guys, it's around 2 a.m., close to 2 a.m. right now. I just did this review. I hope that I got my points across the best that I could. Yeah, I'm tired as fuck right now. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think down below. Like and sub if you enjoyed, and as always, feel free to check out any of my previous videos. Until next time.